Ethan, is this your second episode in a row that you've been on?
Yeah, dude. I don't know how many I have to come on before I officially become a regular, but I think we're in the dating stage right now. We're past the talking stage. So let's we're things are progressing.
For sure.
I would say.
Have you told your parents about us?
Oh, dude. All right, so I got to tell you, Ross, my mother, big fan of your voice. Let me just say that.
My mom loves the sound of my voice.
my parents were like, "Wow, he's got serious on-air talent."
Dude,
so,
this is the first time I blushed on this podcast. How are you on the East Coast? Because before you hopped on, Keon and I were talking about how it's hot as fuck. And my AC broke, and I'm complaining about how hot I am. And then I kind of remember Ethan's coming on. He's in Virginia. So how are you doing?
Yeah, me too. It's great out here. It's been like 20 degrees for 2 weeks. And let me tell you, I am not built for this, dude. Did you guys see after the Indiana game, like one of the fans or one of the reporters or something posted like, "Whoa, the crazy thing about Poly Pavilion is you can just walk outside and walk back in." And I was like, "Oh, I love it when you see Midwest fans in California."
Yeah, I guess I hadn't really appreciated that part of Poly, that the concourse is like duo inside outside. And now that I kind of saw it from that perspective, it is pretty cool that like the doors are open and it's like open air. Like if you're coming from a cold part of the country in February and you experience like the taco truck that's outside, but you're still in like the confines of the arena, like that's pretty cool.
I think like we've been so many times, like the arena, like Poly is pretty special, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's easy to like forget. I'm starting to like go to more arenas now that I live out here on the East Coast, and it is like just a total pain in the butt to have to like put all your coat on, your hats on, your gloves on just to walk from the car to the pavilion, and don't have that problem in California.
And yet,
is there a coat check at some of those arenas? Do they have coat checks?
Yes, there is.
Which is like,
I was kind of saying that facetiously, but
that makes our attendance like even shittier. Like, these people have to like battle like the strength of God just to get to the arena, and the 405 had a lane closed, so I'm gonna call it a night. And
I think
stay
I'll
in.
skip out on this.
Yeah, although I'm not one to talk. I was watching Rutgers last night. We're recording on Wednesday, and last night was the Tuesday night Rutgers game, the Xavier Booker Legacy game. I don't know, just wasn't able to get there in time with work. But, boy, that was, let's call it a palate cleanser after what was, we'll talk about Indiana in a bit, but that was quite the pleasant and fun watch, regardless of the opponent. I mean, a lot of contributors, lots to like. Mick, all things considered, seemed relatively happy in the presser, at least as happy as he's been in quite some time. And on top of that, I thought UCLA Twitter, or X, was as fun as it's been in quite some time. And I hate to say it, I had more fun on my couch live tweeting than I have in my past few times at Poly Pavilion. It's fun because there's no Wi-Fi in Poly.
No.
This was the first time.
Ross, you were kind of in your bag last night. I was going back and reading some of those live tweets. You were kind of cooking.
Ethan, I think there's one in particular that you liked. I referred to Eric Daly's dunk as a as a sexual revolution, I think was the terminology.
Yeah. Dude, you were on fire last night. I'm not going to lie. If the PA announcer thing doesn't work out, you could just be like a meme generator for one of these Big Ten schools. I'll tell you right now, the Big Ten needs help with their social media content, and you could really fill that void.
Ethan, I've been trying to be a meme generator for, 8 years now. It was my first, I think it was my sophomore year, I got the Barstool internship with UCLA Barstool. Okay. So technically I've been on the meme generator game for pushing a decade, and the revenue brought in, I think I'm still in the red when you consider the T-shirts that I've made. Speaking of the Indiana game, I kind of just wanted to like speak to my experience at Poly, because I did go. Did the
VIP experience, right?
Yeah, unexpectedly. So I went to the Bruin Bash alumni event before the game started. That was like $65. I went with a buddy of mine. I just knew that Bob Chesney was going to be speaking, and so was Dave Woods from Bruin Report Online. And I was like, that'd be cool. And I just really wanted to see Chesney, and so I went. And I don't want to be. I'm done being Mr. Shit on UCLA for like doing the wrong thing. But it was Bob Chesney's turn to talk, and just the mic just goes in. Like, I'll do it right here. Bob Chesney would talk like this. It sounded like that, just in and out. And I was just like, you've got to fucking be kidding me. And he just put the mic down. And he just started enunciating without the mic. He goes, "Can you guys hear me?" We're all like, "Fuck yeah, dude!" Like, I was praying he would do that. He starts talking for like 30 seconds. And then some like guy comes up and he's like, "Oh, we've got guests outside in the patio and they can't hear. We need you to use the mic." And Bob's like, "The mic that doesn't work." And we're all just watching this, and I'm like, this is my first time getting to watch this new badass head coach, and this is how it's starting. And he's like, "So you want me to use this mic?" And he's like, "Yeah, they can't hear you." You know what you should have done in that situation? Go outside and tell them to come inside because Bob's talking and the mic's broken. But no, let's give it another crack. So he's like, "All right." He goes, it goes in and out, and I'm just warning you. And he's like, "Okay." So he starts talking again, and it works for like 30 seconds, and then starts going in and out again. And I'm just like, oh my fuck. So he just puts the mic down and just keeps going without it. And I'm like, that's my head football coach. Gave a great speech about what UCLA has to offer, and now kind of gave a spin on how like UCLA's like historical advantages with like the degree and kind of the intrinsic traits about UCLA that have always been an advantage are kind of restored in a way with the NIL era, and how it's all an even playing field. And if you match kind of the pool's like threshold of NIL, all those like resources and advantages come back. And it was just like such a good pitch. Like, I was like, that's a really good point, and you're selling me. And right there I was like, God, this guy's going to pull in some serious dudes. I mean, we already saw it with the transfer portal, but just that speech, I was like, this is awesome. And this is why I bought the ticket. After that, okay, do you guys listen to LAFB at all?
Yes.
Yeah. What other? Hold on. It's Will and Jamal.
Will, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got a chance to meet the two of them.
Will popped in on the space last night.
I did see that. Yeah, I mean, I see his face because they have the video component. I'm faceless because it's a secret society, obviously. Right. So I went up to him because we've talked on Twitter.
Even though we've done a video episode in the past.
Yeah, in like ultra high definition with Jonathan Franklin. We don't talk about that. Sorry, jet ski. Went up to Will and was like, "Yo, dude, I'm SBS." And we talking to him. He goes, "Oh, dude, fuck yeah, nice to meet you." And we just kind of talked like, I mean, I wouldn't consider LAFB like a competitor. Like, they have a much different style. Like, they're kind of like much more like objective and like reporting on stuff. And I would say we're a bit more knee-jerk, like opinionated commentary, I think. And even if they are like a competitor, who cares? Like, I think UCLA content just needs to be more abundant.
Keon informed us last episode that the competition is actually CBS Sports.
Wait, why?
Yeah, you missed that. Kyle was saying he was listening. He shouted out CBS Sports Hoops podcast, and I was like, "Oh, Kyle, it's a competitor. No free ads."
Get that? I leave the show for one episode, and we're plugging our main competitor in CBS. You know who works for CBS is Rick Neuheisel. He wanted me to come on his XM radio show after.
There you go. Now you're going to the competitor too.
Well, when you
CBS,
and which I did do, when I broke the Deshaun firing, which some people criticize. Like, I won't go down that road. Some people were like saying it was irresponsible what I did. It was not irresponsible because I knew that he'd been fucking fired, and that's why I was right by 24 hours. Rick Neuheisel actually wanted me to come on his radio show, and I was kind of scared to do that. I was like, dude, Rick, man, like I appreciate that. Well, I couldn't really make it happen with work, but I could, realistically, I could have probably canceled a few meetings and made it on the show. But I was just like, dude, like, yeah, I was able to get my hands on the news. But if you're going to ask me to really go into like what happened, like, I'm really not much of an insider. But he said, "Hey, well, anytime you want to come on."
People think a sign of whether or not you've made it is if CBS invites you onto their show. You know you've made it when you say no. That's when you truly made it.
No, it's all good, Coach. I've got my own show. We talk all things UCLA basketball and football, but I appreciate it, though. Maybe you come on mine. Rutgers. What do we make of this, Ethan and Keon? I mean, I said it on X last night. Like, yes, Rutgers basketball is just asshole. That's true. But what can also be true is that I think UCLA could still be like a top 15 team at heart. if that makes sense, because they looked like it last night.
Kyle kind of brought this up when we were talking about the fallout from the Purdue game. On its day, I think UCLA could beat anybody in the country.
Mm-hmm.
A couple bounces go differently. You beat Arizona. A couple bounces go differently. You beat Gonzaga. You obviously beat Purdue, who's having their own kind of like meltdown right now. But still, like they can shoot the three the way they shot the three last night. There's these, you see it. It's just, I think, a matter of, and I guess this is a really easy thing to say, finding that consistency in that gear, where you could show up. Because I think one thing for Cronin's teams that we've seen in the past that's been really tough is when you do play teams like a Rutgers that are not very good and they kind of stoop to that level.
Yeah.
But then when you play the Purdues and the Arizonas and the Gonzagas, the teams rise up. National championship teams stay at that level no matter who they're playing.
And dude, Arizona still has, as we all know, they still have not lost a game. And that was, Donovan Dent was basically absent that game. And now we're kind of starting to see him I don't want to say entirely, but for the most part, kind of become the player that we thought we were getting. And I mean, just think about, we had him with 2 minutes to go. Dent was an absolute non-factor. I mean, the ceiling is like we've seen what the team can look like, and I think that's why the first half of the season was just so frustrating.
I'll say this about this squad: the shot making on this team is special. If you want some like boring numbers, I can give you the numbers on it.
Please do.
Okay, so we are shooting above the break three, so that's any sort of three-pointer not from the corner, at 37%. That puts us in the 94th percentile nationally of all D1 teams. We're shooting the corner three at 40%, which puts us in the 85th percentile. We're shooting mid-range twos at 40%, which puts us in the 80th percentile. And so the shot making is special. What I will say about this particular squad is that the shot selection is really, really bad. And that's what's dragging this offense down. I don't know if you guys remember in the preseason episode when I came on and I said we were in the first percentile last season in terms of shots at the rim. Right?
Yeah. So it can only get better.
It could only get better. And guess what? We're in the second percentile.
You're kidding.
We shoot
brick by brick.
Brick by brick. We shoot 21% of our field goals at the rim, which is in the second percentile. The crazy thing is that we're converting, even though it's not very much on volume, we're converting those at almost 68%. And so when we do get to the rim, we're scoring points. The problem is we are shooting way too many tough twos, and Coach Cronin actually kind of hit on this last night in the post-game presser when he was talking about the value of an open three versus a contested two. And he was talking about how debilitating it is for your team if you just continually shoot these difficult two-point shots. And that honestly has it's been what's plagued the turnovers are not that bad, honestly. And it's not like the inside game is killing us. The shot making is special. It's just we're shooting the wrong shots.
I've got a quote from Mick's presser last night. He was talking specifically about Xavier Booker. He said an open three from Book is a better shot than a contested two from anyone else on the team. And I think that kind of feeds right into that point, which I guess kind of like leads me to a question where like Ethan, you texted me last night. You were saying, I think it was like you called it not the dagger of the team, the
demon of our team that we haven't been able to exercise.
Yeah, what is it?
All right, so the demon of this team are the zero pass possessions that end in a mid-range shot. So it's typically Eric Daly, or it's another player who takes the ball off the glass, dribbles it up the floor, and then just fires a mid-range two that's contested. And that happens 3 or 4 times every single game. And maybe we've made one this year, but I haven't seen it.
Okay, well then, so what my question kind of is with that is Mick, and I don't know if he's really strayed away from this, but it used to be like if you made a certain type of mistake, you're going to the bench. Is that not that? Because if that is such an obvious problem, which it clearly is, you would think that'd be such an easy fix when saying if you come up the court and don't pass it and take an ill-advised shot, unless you're completely unguarded and you're an excellent three-point shooter. Let's call it no one guards Bilodeau from the arc and he shoots it. if it's like one of those scenarios, like it should, you're straight to the bench. Like how I'm just so confused why like a coach with a disciplinary style of Cronin has allowed that type of problem to become such like an infection on the fucking team.
My personal opinion about why that is there's certain mistakes that are an immediate hook for Cronin, and it's typically like on the defensive end or it's a turnover. Mick believes in shooting more field goal attempts than the other team, and so I think a turnover will get you thrown to the bench, or if you give up an offensive rebound, that'll get you thrown to the bench, but a bad shot often doesn't for some reason.
Yeah. I mean, on the topic of, when he was talking about Booker, I knew he had a jump shot. I mean, I knew he had a stroke. Oh, yeah. I mean, what was it? I could be wrong. Was it 4 for 4 from 3 last night from Xavier Booker?
Yes, 4 for 4. Go ahead.
I mean, just going to say 100%, 24 points. I think that was also a career high from him. I'd be stunned if it wasn't. 3 assists, 5 rebounds. I mean, God, man, like I know it's Rutgers, but if he could play like that down this stretch and we see kind of like a Mara mania out of him, I know it's a little bit later in the season than when that took place, but I mean, that's you could be looking at, I mean, this is getting so far in like fantasy ahead of ourselves, but like that would be kind of like 2019 COVID ending season type shit where you go on that run and think about what could have been. We kind of came into the space last night and kind of said that. I'm like, well, what if, I mean, it was Rutgers, but he looked like he was advertised out of high school last night, and like what a time it would be right now with the slate that lies ahead for that to kind of be replicated against those opponents.
And we honestly don't need him to be great. Like if he just rebounds, if he defends, if he makes a shot when he's wide open, that's
couple blocks.
All that's all we need out of him right there.
Yep. Yeah. And then you got to talk Tyler Bilodeau. That first half, I mean, I think it was only 3 3-pointers made in that first half, but there was that one corner, too, that was just – I mean, it felt like he made 5. The guy was just shooting it unconscious, 19 points, 7 rebounds, and an assist out of him. I mean, same kind of applies to him as it is with Booker. Like, when will teams start to, like, game plan or against the Tyler Bilodeau 3? Because it doesn't seem like there's much urgency to get to him at the arc. I know he's kind of got that hybrid 4-5 presence where you can't just let him walk into the paint or into the elbow or wherever. But I feel like teams are going to have to start to spread the D and get out to him on the arc, because right now he's just catching it and shooting it, and the percentage is high.
Yeah, to your point, I mean, he's too big for 4s, right? And he's too quick for 5s. And so he's a matchup nightmare for everybody. And I think that Dent doesn't get enough credit for how many of these passes come to Bilodeau right in the shooter's pocket, right on time. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever gone out. Like, I'm sure everybody's gone out and just shot hoops. And when the pass hits you right in the chest, it's like that goes in every time.
It sets you up for your shooting motion if it's right in that kind of commencement spot.
Yeah, and Dent is so good with these look away kinds of passes and stalling, making sure that on screens that big has to stick with him for an extra second, otherwise Dent will run into the lane, and that's all Bilodeau needs is just a split second of space to get a shot off. And he's going to be pushing for first team all conference. I mean, he's probably in most people's second team all conference right now, but it's going to be hard to keep him off the first team if he keeps shooting like this.
No one's paying the price for the Cal loss, the Ohio State loss, those early season kind of shitty losses than Bilodeau, because he's playing at like just a national level, but he doesn't get any of the media hype because the team has kind of fallen off the grid and they've been unranked for the last month and a half. I mean, had UCLA been living up to its billing and was playing in the top 15, and Purdue was a win where it was like 13 UCLA beats number 4 Purdue, Tyler Bilodeau gets a lot more publicity and a lot more of the spotlight, but instead it's kind of just Bruin fans that are like, this guy's playing at a fucking serious level of basketball. I had a question mark next to Donovan Dent. You just kind of got into it right there. I mean, it was 11 assists. He had a double-double, 13 points, 11 assists. Like, the guy's inarguably doing exactly what Bruin fans wanted him to do when it was announced that we got him, and that's to pass at an elite level and make plays on offense. But I think it's those shots around the rim, kind of those easy ones where he effectively gets to the rack and then just can't quite finish. I think it's kind of still leading to, even if I think it's still kind of unfair, or it's a little unfair, where UCLA fans still haven't fully warmed up to him yet, and you'll still see a lot of people kind of being bitter about Donovan Dent. It might be kind of that hangover from that first half of the year, but I mean, it's kind of getting harder and harder to deny the impact he's having and just his passing ability. Because I think, if I were to give like a big three from the game last night, and there were a lot of guys that contributed, I'm going Booker, Bilodeau, and then Donovan Dent.
Well, I just wanted to bring up the point that Dent is like fourth in the nation in the number of assists in the Power Four.
Really?
Something like that. I think it's just Braden Smith, Jeremy Fears. I'm just going off the list that NCAA has. I don't know how updated it is. And then Christian Anderson from Texas Tech. Like, that's it.
Yeah, I believe it.
So like he is producing the dimes on a national level. I mean, there's very few. I mean, I guess two of them are in your conference, which might make it hard for him to really be breaking through that as far as point guards go in the Big Ten. But as far as setting up his teammates, I mean, it's hard to argue with that.
There were a few moments last night where he had beaten his man and had a direct route to the basket without a defender in between him and the hoop, and he still decided to pass it. And I'm almost at the point where I'm almost more for that than taking the uncontested layup. Like, I'd rather him hit Bilodeau straight in the chest, unguarded from three, than have Donovan Dent kind of finish that drive with someone maybe closing in behind him. It could be coaching. I don't know.
It's interesting to see how different teams defend Donovan Dent. It seems like the most successful teams are just sticking with shooters and telling him, if you can finish in the lane over size, then go for it. We're not going to leave corner shooters, and we're not going to leave elbow shooters. And that seems to be the most effective way to defend him, because to your point, if he's getting like 13 assists a game, you're just not going to beat UCLA in a game like that. Yeah. And we've seen that over and over again this year. Keon, your instinct is correct. His percentage at the rim is 12 points less this year than it was last year, and so maybe it's Big Ten size. You know,
it has to be, man.
I mean, last year his finishing at the rim was like something you get from like a 7-foot center. It was like 66% at the rim, and which is just an absurd number. And I don't know why it never occurred to me that is just plain not sustainable. But this year it's not awful. It's 50. He's 55% at the rim, which is not horrible, but it's not good.
I remember kind of one of the drawbacks to when we landed Donovan was he does everything incredibly. He's just slightly undersized, and he turns the ball over at a very high clip. How has that fared over the course of the season? How would you address that? Has that been kind of a plus and it's gotten better, or kind of how do we assess that?
He's had a couple high turnover games, but to me that hasn't really been the issue. It's been the lack of an outside shot. And so when you see how teams defend him, they just sag on all these pick and rolls, and they say, if you come off that screen and want to shoot it, by all means go for it. And what that means is it just makes it really hard to set up his passes when that happens. And so I think the shooting has been, I mean, the turnovers, they exist. They're there, but they haven't really been like a major factor in my mind.
Yeah. So let's look ahead, because Rutgers was great. Good to get back on track, but the mission still lies ahead. And honestly, still, it's not, I mean, it's looking better, but UCLA still needs to make the tournament. And it is by no means a lock, and especially when you look at the remaining games on the UCLA schedule, the only way to describe it is just simply a gauntlet. I mean, we've got Washington at home on Saturday. That's at home, right? That's a home game.
Yep.
Yes.
Washington. Then we're going to Michigan first, then Michigan State, I want to say.
Yep.
Both quad one, hostile environment opportunities there. Come back home against Illinois. Then I want to say it's SC, Minnesota, SC again. I mean, whatever the order is, it's just really like one of the hardest.
Or one Nebraska in there.
Yeah, Nebraska's in there. It's just one of the toughest stretches of a UCLA basketball schedules that I can recall. Ethan, we'll of course start with you. Like, what needs to happen here? And I also want to hear, what do you think is going to happen? Not to put you on the spot, but like, how are you kind of sensing the way this is headed with what the schedule looks like?
Yeah, so when you look through kind of the top bracketologists out there, most people have us either as like one of the last 10 seeds or somewhere on that 11 line. So we're safe right now. something like a 68% chance of making the tournament if it were to be put in today. So we're pretty safe right now. What needs to happen? So if we don't get any from the big guys, if we don't get any from Michigan, Michigan State, Nebraska, and Illinois, then we would have to win every other game outside of those four, and I think we would still be okay. If we get one of those games, we could probably afford to drop one from the others. To your point, the nice thing here is that all these games are Q1 and Q2, so one single loss is not going to sink you immediately.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay, I can't believe I'm saying this, but Seth Davis had a pretty good point last night. I don't really have like the exact quote, but he basically said like teams in down conferences, like this year being, let's call it like the Big East. I think they have UConn as the sole team in the top 20. Like if they've found themselves in a hole, any team in a conference like the Big East, for example, if they found themselves in a hole from like November and December losses, like they're kind of screwed out of now in February playing for their own destiny, and whether it be for seeding or making the tournament, they don't really have those opportunities, those Q1 opportunities to control their own destiny and make the tournament or improve their seeding. Whereas to the contrary, you look at UCLA, I mean, it's literally the complete opposite. I feel like there's two ways to really look at the remainder of their schedule, and it's like either like, oh my God, this is going to be a slaughterhouse, like this is fucked, or it's like, wow, what perfect timing. Like UCLA right now is basically a bubble team, and here are now like 4 or 5 quad one opportunities just to like cement your spot in the tournament, maybe make a run at, I mean, what, is a 7 seed even still possible if they were to make like a impressive run here and win? Yeah, for sure. So like, I mean, it's like it's a total blessing and a curse when you kind of consider the exact situation that UCLA finds itself in right now.
There is so much opportunity ahead of us. If they were to like shock the world and run the table, you probably see them closer to the 5 line, honestly.
Running the table, and I would buy. I mean, tell me the region, and I'm flying first class. Go ahead, Keon. Sorry, but holy shit!
I was gonna quickly ask. Let's say we win 1, maybe steal 2, and things are okay. We're still around where we are right now. How much then, Ethan, does the Big Ten tournament come into play as far as seeding goes? Because obviously, if you win the Big Ten tournament, you go on a run, you get the automatic into the March Madness. But like, where else can we get those kind of later on? Can we get that there?
Well, so the dirty secret that the conferences don't want to tell you is that the conference tournament means nothing, honestly.
Oh, just an injury opportunity. I love it.
Yeah. No, I mean, the first day or the first 2 days of the conference tournament is important. You can pick up a Q1 win there and maybe help yourself out. But the last couple of days of the conference tournament, the committee will have already met and will have already decided what's going on. And the last couple of days of a conference tournament, unless you're like unless you're like out of the field and you're trying to secure that automatic bid from winning the whole thing, the last few days of the conference tournament honestly does nothing for you.
Don't tell that to an Arizona fan. They love talking about conference tournaments. You would think
they love their fake titles over there. Let me tell you.
Yeah, they can hang their conference tournament banners, and I think how I described UCLA that I think we should hang a banner for this year is top 15 at heart 2026.
Ooh, Jeremy Fears another dirty play just now. Oh man,
what happened?
They're down, right, against Minnesota.
Yeah, you just kicked some guy in the nuts.
Oof. Well,
who's the Duke guy?
Grayson Allen? He just kind of
kind
of returned to form the other night, I want to say.
Sorry, I just derailed the show, but
no, I mean
we always need something, Ethan. We need some sort of linchpin to get pulled.
There's only been one mentioning of Al Qaeda, so I guess now is the time to plug Grayson Allen, which is kind of in the same realm. I guess to kind of close us off, we had to talk that Cronin, the latest Cronin headline. I watched last night live. By the way, because I watched it live during the kind of the post game Big Ten network like recap of the game. Seth Davis was on it, whatever, but it went on for like 30 minutes and just really in-depth stuff. Like I don't really watch a lot of I'll watch the game and I'll go to bed or either go to the game, but I never really kind of sat down and stayed for the entire fucking show. I was digging it. But anyways, they cut to Mick Cronin's press conference and I watched the whole 10 minutes. And I remember thinking like, okay, well, there were no sound clips from that. We're good. Finally, just an easy one. He made some funny remarks, but like there's nothing here. Lo and behold, I checked Twitter this morning, and apparently people are now crying about the Rutgers thing. I just don't think people are listening anymore.
No, they're not. He's like a caricature at this point of himself, and he is essentially a meme, honestly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's become like, I don't know if Rorschach test or like a litmus test is the correct analogy, but it's kind of become this. I kind of spoke to this on Twitter. It's become an exercise to find out who actually listens and watches things in sports media, or just simply sees a headline that says Mick Cronin said this, and now it's time to tweet and form opinions and get engagement. Because
go
ahead.
I was going to say, to your point about a lot of these podcasts and things like that who are getting paid, to your point about not getting paid, they get paid on engagement.
Yeah.
Right. And they sell ad space. And so when they get clicks and when they get feedback and when they get comments and when they get subscriptions, it helps them. And every one of these like clips that you see is not doctored, but like taken way out of context. And then sometimes it's not even bad. They just like put it on there. He just said something, and all of a sudden it's like it blows up.
Well, like the full context was him saying, wow, Rutgers has a really good head coach. I commend him greatly. Obviously, in this current NIL climate, there's haves and have-nots, meaning obviously UCLA has more financial resources than Rutgers basketball will have. But it's a shame that we play, in a sense, the MLB, and there's no salary caps here, and it's not like an NFL situation. And which is him saying, like he's admitting, he's like, we have a way more financially backed roster than Rutgers does. Had that been equal, this would have been a much better game, and that this was a handicap match essentially. Yet accounts will post the clip, and then the headline says, "It's a shame there's no salary cap, and that we're basically playing in the MLB." It's like that is like, if this were China, I would want them to be like castrated and dragged by the ankles by goats, because that's like blasphemy and that's misinformation.
Put it on him.
No, clip
Put it on
that.
a shirt. Next SBS shirt. That's what it'll say.
Bring back castrations to fake news.
Dragged by goats.
I mean it. You can't just do that.
Cronin is a sore loser, right? And I honestly don't mind that in a head coach. I kind of like that he gets a little edgy, and losses do not sit well with him.
Yeah.
Losses don't sit well with me either, and I don't mind that at all. But the engagement farming from just him giving a very normal, honestly, a very polite answer to
it was
Coach Michael.
so respectful. Like, what the fuck? I think it was after the Indiana
Ross
game.
is getting fired up.
No, clearly it's Ross. You're getting really sweaty on camera. Was it the Indiana game where he was talking about? No, it was after the Purdue win. What am I saying? We won, and then he started talking about, I think it was Big Ten travel. And like to your point, Ethan, yeah, he is a sore loser. But if he only made these complaints after losses, that would make him a sore loser. But the fact that he also stands by these points after wins just means he's strong in his convictions. So otherwise, he'd be a complete hypocrite. If he's praising everybody after a win, it's like, then you're just a dick and can't handle losses. But people are like, why are you bitching after a win? You should be happy. You're always finding something to complain about. It's like, yeah, the guy can be negative, but at least he's being honest 100% of the time. And if that really just offends you that much, like I said in the X space last night, then that just means you are soft. This is an old school coach, and he's gonna call it as he sees it. And if that means you got to cry in comments and call him bald and talk about how much you hate Kami Formia and Gavin Newsom, then you're just a fucking soft clown. Sorry, there's no other way to describe it.
It's true. The craziest part is when these Big Ten fans whose head coach is like the exact same way get on here and talk about how much they hate Mick Cronin. I'm like, buddy, your coach is Tom Izzo. What are you talking about?
No, it's wild. The word you used in your tweet today, and Ethan, was how this has the Mick Cronin presser, how it's become basically like a weekly meme thing. It's brought out the most unintelligent people. The key word there is unintelligent. I've just kind of, you really have to take a step back and remember, it wasn't like this in the Pac-12. The fans are much more opinionated with much worse takes in the Big Ten.
You remember the Calgorithm? The Calgorithm was hilarious, honestly.
At least there's wit there, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed. By the way, you got to make that road trip to the Cal game. I'm going to try to recruit anyone that comes on the show, anyone that follows us. I'm trying to recruit every possible Bruin fan to make that trip because
Let's do it, man.
We have to do it. I'm going to hit up the LAFB boys.
Is it where is it? Is it in
Berkeley?
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it, man. That'd be fun.
That's a fun road trip. One thing I hate Cal. I despise them. But one thing I will give them is that is one of my favorite places to watch a sports game or a football game is Memorial.
I've never been before.
Oh, it's great. I was committed to run track at Cal for like 2 months. So I was kind of enamored for a little bit, and you got to give it to them. It's a beautiful campus, beautiful area. Love going up to Cal, and I also love kicking their ass in that beautiful stadium, and it's certainly time to do that. We owe them one, given we're now $20 million their sugar daddy. But, Ethan, man, always a pleasure having you on. It's good to have someone on when Kyle takes a seat because when he leaves, we're looking for ball knowledge, and you fill that gap. So thank you, brother.
Well, thank you for having me. You guys sell yourselves short. You guys know what you're talking about, too. So don't sell yourself short.
I needed to hear that, just like I needed to hear that your mom thinks that my voice is pro-sounding. Well, cool. That's all we got for you guys today. We'll be back next week, hopefully, on our normal schedule. We're about a day behind this week, but we got Washington on Saturday. So let's call it next Tuesday. We'll be back with some more SBS content for you guys. Thanks for tuning in as always. We'll catch you next time. Go Bruins.